All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Homewood-Flossmoor Vikings baseball broadcast. I'm Dylan Barnes. I'm going to be calling this game and all others throughout the season, so if you can't make a game, just tune in right here. Today, the Vikings of Homewood-Flossmoor are going to be taking on the Porters of Lockport. The Vikings are coming off of a 4-1 win against Maine South, bringing their record back up to an even 500. The Porters, on Thursday, beat Plainfield East 20-5, extending their winning streak to 4 and their record to 11-6. And on the bump today for the Vikings is the big lefty, Evan Nieder. Against Sandburg last Tuesday, he went 4 innings pitched, allowed 2 runs on only 3 hits, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. His battery mate, the catcher, is going to be Josh Moore around the infield. Isaiah White at third, Rob Tate at short, Corey Mulling at second, and Elijah Rainey at first. Behind them in the outfield, Chris Webb in left, Dylan Head in center, and Jason Ballard in right. So the exact same lineup that the Vikings rolled out on Saturday. Exact same batting order too. So you got Head, Mulling, Ballard, Lund, White, Rainey, Moore, Webb, and Tate. This Lockport team was preseason ranked pretty highly, but some losses on their record have knocked them out of the top 10 in Chicago, in Illinois baseball rankings, not just Chicago. But leading things off for the Porters is going to be their center fielder, Joey Manzo. Getting the leadoff man out has been something that the Vikings have struggled with in games recently. They've pitched around leadoff men in the past. And as you can see, Isaiah White playing in about even with the third base line. First pitch from Nieder is a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1, and that is how this ball game is going to get underway. Nieder drops down to that low 3/4 angle, getting that sink on his fastball. Missing barrels. That 0-1 pitch is outside. 1 ball and a strike. That outing against Sandburg, where Nieder went 4 innings, only allowed two runs, was probably his best of the year. His first time going deep into a game. That 1-1 is just barely upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. It was also encouraging to see that only walked 1 batter throughout those 4 innings. Control has been something that he has struggled with at times. That 2-1 is at the top of the zone, bringing the count to an even 2 balls and 2 strikes now on the leadoff man, Manzo. See if Nieder can start this game with a punch out. 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground to short. Rob Tate up with it. Backhand play. He's going to have to hustle. Out at first base is a call. A good, strong throw by Rob Tate starts this game with a leadoff ground out. He really had to hustle with that. Manzo was flying down the line, but he was able to come up with it and fire an accurate rocket to Elijah Rainey over there at first. And now Anthony Francone, the left fielder, will bat now. First pitch from Nieder. Francone squares bunt, pulls back, and it hit the umpire. So he's shaking out his right arm. It's never nice to get hit, especially when you're not expecting it. But he's smiling. He seems to be in good spirits. That was a first pitch ball, by the way. So Francone has a 1 ball and no strikes count on him with 1 out here in the top of the first. One 0 from Nieder is in the dirt. Ball 2. Francone up in the count, 2-0 on Nieder. The pitch. That's above the zone yet again. 3 balls and no strikes. So after the leadoff ground out by Manzo, Nieder has thrown 3 straight balls to Francone. Make it 4. So Francone draws a 1-out walk, and Anthony Martinez, the second baseman, will bat with a runner on first base and 1 out. If Nieder can use his sinking fastball to his advantage, he can potentially get Martinez to just beat one right into the turf and turn an inning-ending double play. That one's upstairs. 1-0. One ball and no strikes. That one's in there for strike 1. Martinez was taken all the way. Nieder had thrown 5 straight balls up until that strike. So now that he's seen one, he's likely going to be able to swing away. 1-1 from Nieder. Takes off. That one's fouled off. Francone was off with the pitch. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes on the second baseman Martinez. Wouldn't be shocked if we see Francone try and swipe second again. Pickoff attempt. Francone flinched towards second, but Nieder elected not to throw it. Just seeing what Francone was trying to do over there at first. This is an off-speed count, so that pitch will be coming in slower. Francone does take off. That one's inside, and it gets popped out of Josh Moore's glove. 2 balls, 2 strikes now, and Francone moves up 90 feet. So there's a runner in scoring position now for the Porters with 1 out here in the top of the first. Two from Nieder. That's in the dirt. Moore is able to get some body on it, but not enough, as that one was thrown about 56 feet. Spiked way in front of home plate. Brings the count to a full 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nieder had him 1-2. Now it's full. Trying to avoid 2 straight walks. Full count pitch. Just barely inside. And that is 2 straight walks. Runners on the corners now with 1 out. For the DH, Jake Mormon.
Designated hitter, number 5, Jake Mormon.
The benefit of Nieder being a tall left-handed pitcher is that 3 out of the first 4 batters in the Porters lineup are left-handed, and Nieder is significantly better against left-handed batters just because his stuff is harder to hit as a left-handed batter. His fastball will come in on your hands and jam you, and then his curveball / slider will obviously run away from you. First pitch to Mormon. That one's in there for strike 1. If Nieder can throw first pitch strike, he's pretty efficient. But it's just a matter of throwing first pitch strike. The 0-1. Swing and a miss by Mormon, 0-2. He was way late on that fastball. So now Nieder's way ahead. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. The pitch. That one hits him just off the shin, and the bases are now loaded. A hit by pitch on an 0-2 count is pretty much the last thing you want as a pitcher, other than a ball in play and it ends up being multiple runs. But the bases are now loaded for the shortstop, Nico Mastoris. Once again, double play still in line for the Vikings. That one's in there for strike one on the outside third of the plate. Nieder comes set. 0-1 to Mastoris. Top of the zone, too high. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1. That one's even more upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Nowhere to put Mastoris, so Nieder has to go right at him. Porters still do not have a hit in this inning. That one's upstairs, and they are threatening to score a run on no hits. 3-1 count to the shortstop Mastoris. The pitch. That's above the zone, and it is a run-scoring walk for Nico Mastoris, and the Porters take a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. Still looking for their first hit. They've gone ground out to short to start the game. 2 consecutive walks, a hit by pitch, and then that walk to Mastoris. That's them, their first run of the game, and the bases are still loaded for the third baseman, Caden Miller. Miller takes first pitch strike at the knees. Nieder has missed up with his fastball today, so if he can just get on top of it, like he did right there. 0-2. Miller was way out in front of that one. Nieder still way ahead in the count, 0-2, but we saw him hit Jake Mormon on an 0-2 count. 0-2 pitch. That one's above the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nieder still ahead in the count with a ball and a strike on Miller. Miller takes a ball below the zone, evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Count is even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch from Nieder. Just barely inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. So after Nieder got ahead 0-2, Miller has taken 3 consecutive balls to now have the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count pitch. Just barely inside. And the Porters add another one. Their second walk of the inning. And they still do not have their first hit. So 5 consecutive free passes sends pitching coach Vince Davis out of the dugout to have a chat with Nieder. So as he talks with Evan, we'll step out and hopefully be back soon. Vikings still searching for that second out of the top of the first inning. They got the first out on the first batter, but since then, it's been 4 walks and a hit by pitch. And the Porters are up 2-0. Bases are still loaded for the first baseman, Colton Benitez. Benitez checks his swing on ball 1. That one was probably just a little bit off the plate. 1-0 from Nieder. That one's hit out in the air to right field. Jason Ballard going back on it at the track, at the wall, and that one's gone. Colton Benitez goes opposite field. A grand slam opens this one up 6-0 in the top of the first inning. So the Vikings are going to have some work to do if they want to get back in this one. 6-run deficit isn't exactly the best thing in the world before you even take your first at bat. Jake Schindler, the catcher, will bat with the bases empty now. That one's low. 1 ball and no strikes. So the Porters' first hit was a pretty impactful one. A grand slam to the opposite field off the bat of Benitez. That one's in there for strike 1. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. After the leadoff ground out by Manzo, 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and another 2 walks set up that grand slam as there's strike 2 from Nieder. One-two pitch from Nieder. Hit on the ground to short. Rob Tate fields it and fires across the diamond to Rainey at first base. So Rob Tate makes 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Only difference is the first one was on the first batter of the game. The second one was 6 batters later. So now the last hitter in the Porters lineup, Giovanni Zaragoza. Their right fielder will square bunt, try to push it down the first base line. Foul. 0-1. One is the count on Zaragoza. That one's below the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. Count is even. 1-1 on the right fielder, Zaragoza. That one's hit back up the middle for a 2-out single. So Zaragoza extends the inning to the leadoff man, Joey Manzo, who grounded out to short to start this ball game. Nieder looked to be in good shape after he got the first out on the first batter. But since then, it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing. Zaragoza takes off, and he will be safe at second base. So he swipes second. That was ball 1 to Manzo. That was in the dirt. One ball and no strikes to Manzo. That one's at the bottom of the zone. Strike 1. One from Nieder. That one's hit on the ground to Rainey at first base. He'll field it cleanly and retire Manzo for the 3rd out of the first inning. So Manzo makes 2 outs in the first inning, the first and the 3rd. But in between them, 6 runs come across the plate for the Porters, and they hold a 6-0 lead going into the bottom of the 1st. Leading off here in the bottom of the first inning is going to be the center fielder, Dylan
Head. Dylan Head.
Head went a very uncharacteristic 0 for 3 Saturday against Maine South. I doubt that he's held hitless in this one. He sends the first one on the ground to Martinez at second base. And he is going to be safe at first base. The ball popped out of Benitez's glove. So Dylan Head, hustling down the line, is rewarded with a trip on base. That one's probably going to go down as E3, though. Cal Carosa is the starting pitcher for the Porters. He'll face Corey Mulling, the Vikings second baseman. He went 1 for 3 with a run scored on Saturday. Head takes off first pitch. Throw from Schindler is not going to be in time, and Head has stolen his 19th base of the season. That was ball 1 to Mulling. Mulling has had a good last 6 days. He went 4 for 4 against Sandberg last Tuesday, and then added his second home run of the year on Thursday at Lincoln Way West. He'll watch strike 1 from Carosa. Good frame there by Schindler to sort of bring that one in over the plate again. One to Mulling. Hit on the ground to Mastoris at short. He will fire to Benitez at first base for the first out of this bottom of the first inning, but it moves ahead to third. For the right fielder, Jason Ballard. Ballard went 0 for 2 with his 19th walk of the year and a run scored against Maine South. First pitch, breaking ball from Carosa. That one came in there with about 20 less miles per hour than his fastball. Just sort of floated it in there. Pickoff attempt to third. You rarely see those. Caden Miller darted over to cover third. Throw was not in time. Oh, 1 to Ballard. Outside. Evens the count and a ball and a strike. The Porters' defense is Jake Schindler behind the plate, Caden Miller at third, Nico Mastoris at short, Anthony Martinez at second, and Colton Benitez at first. I'll tell you the outfield after this 1-1 pitch to Ballard. That one's outside, 2 balls and a strike. The outfield for the Porters is Anthony Francone in left, Joey Manzo in center, and Giovanni Zaragoza in right. 2-1 from Carosa to Ballard. Tipped to the screen, 2-2. So after a 6-run top of the first inning, Vikings looking to add on at least 1. Cutting that deficit to a more manageable number. That breaking ball was upstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now Ballard looking for potentially his 20th walk of the year. 3-2 pitch to Ballard. That one's fouled out of play down the first base line. Good battle by Jason. So we'll do the full count pitch one more time. 3-2 pitch to Ballard. Hit on the ground to Mastoris at short. 1 run will score, and Jason Ballard will stand on first base. An infield single for the right fielder, and it's a run-scoring single. Ballard just using his legs to beat that one out, causing Mastoris to just hold the ball.
Designated hitter number 10, Weston Lund.
DH Preston Lund is the batter with the runner on first and 1 out in the bottom of the first. Lund was 0 for 2 against Maine South. That slow breaking ball again from Carosa is upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 to Ballard, 1-0 to Lund is upstairs. I was thinking about Jason Ballard because he had a pretty big lead over there at first base. Was wondering if we were going to see him take off. He didn't on that pitch, but wouldn't be shocked if we see so in the near future. 2-0 to Lund. That's upstairs yet again. 3 balls and no strikes. So Lund trying to follow Ballard's infield single with a 4-pitch walk. 3-0 pitch from Carosa. That's upstairs, ball 4, and it will be a 4-pitch walk to the DH Lund. And Isaiah White will bat with 2 runners on. The third baseman went 0 for 2 against Maine South. But he has the power to cut this lead to 2. It's crazy to think about, but if Isaiah White does homer right here, it's only a 2-run ball game. But I'm sure he's just focused on getting on, keeping this rally going for the Vikings. Ballard takes off for third. First pitch is inside, and he will seal third base. Schindler could not come up with it out of his glove. He lost it on transfer. That's going to be a stolen base for Jason Ballard. Preston Lund moves up 90 feet to second base behind him, and now the double play is not a possibility for the Porters. I mean, I suppose it is, but it's not their traditional second base to first base double play. That one's on the outside corner, strike 1 to Isaiah White. After 5 straight balls, Carosa finally finds his own. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the first. Breaking ball hit right to Martinez at second base. He knocks it down, and safe at first base is the call. Martinez knocked it down and then had to hurry his throw as White was coming hard down the line. He beat out the throw. It scores 1.
Number 4.
So the lead is now 4.
Elijah Rainey.
The ball was hit so hard that Anthony Martinez just had to sort of get his body in front of it and then come up with it. But he was not quick enough to get the speedy Isaiah White. It's going to be an RBI single for him. And a run scored for Jason Ballard. And Elijah Rainey has runners on the corners and 1 out for his at-bat. Would not be shocked if we see White take off for second, just to get the double play out of the picture. Rainey does have a home run on the year. Came pretty early on in the season, but if he gets a barrel on the baseball and gets it in the air, it's going to go a long way. The wind is actually blowing in today for a change. We're used to seeing the wind blowing pretty much straight out to left field, but it's not blowing too hard though. First pitch to Rainey is on the outside corner for strike 1. Rainey was 0 for 2 against Maine South on Saturday. (0-1) to Rainey. White takes off for second. Rainey swings through that fastball, and White will take second base. Lund did not take home, but either way, White has a stolen base to his name, and Elijah Rainey has 2 runners in scoring position with a 1-1 count on him. Excuse me, 0-2 count, and that one was outside. Now it's 1-2. Rainey trying to knock in a pair for the Vikings. 1-2 from Carosa is a breaking ball. Great play by Caden Miller. And oh my goodness, that is a phenomenal play. It scores one for the Vikings, but Caden Miller just stopped another run from coming in and Elijah Rainey from standing on second base. A one-hop missile that Miller was just somehow able to get his glove on.
Catcher number 6, Josh Moore.
The Vikings do score 3, though, in this bottom of the first inning, and they're not done yet. Josh Moore will bat with Isaiah White only 90 feet away. Moore will send one past the dive of Miller this time. He can't get to that one, and the lead is now only 2 for the Porters. A high-scoring game already, and we're not even done with the first inning.
Left fielder, number 23, Chris Webb.
So now the players of Lockport are going to have a little meeting on the mound, and they'll discuss what they want to do with the left fielder, Chris Webb. Webb went 1 for 2 with a run scored on Saturday. Webb doesn't exactly have the highest batting average, but what he can bring to the table is a very high on-base percentage. That on-base percentage is north of 600. He can draw a walk with the best of them. First pitch to Webb is a pickoff attempt. Bennett Reich is the courtesy runner for Josh Moore. Moore, being the catcher, is awarded with a little rest after his RBI single. That breaking ball from Carosa just buckled Webb. Wasn't expecting it. Another pickoff attempt. Reich slides in safe at first. Throw one to Webb. Reich takes off for second. That one's hit right in the hole where Martinez was. Reich's going to round second and try for third. He'll be in there safely, and Reich will be waved home. The throw is going to be cut off at first base, and Bennett Reich scores all the way from first base on Chris Webb's single. He just kept on going. We've seen that happen a few times now for the Vikings, where a runner on first base scores on a single. But this ball game is suddenly a one-run ball game. That was a perfectly executed hit and run by Chris Webb. Just hit it right in the hole where Martinez was going to cover second base on Reich's attempted steal. And Rob Tate takes ball 1 off the plate. Tate was 2 for 2 with a home run, a double, and 2 RBIs against Maine South. He was the Vikings offense. He sends one past the dive of Martinez once again. Chris Webb is going to be waved towards third. The throw from Zaragoza is going to be in time to get him. And I believe they're going to be awarded interference. Chris Webb is going to be given third base after Nico Mastoris got in the way of him. So either way, the Vikings have runners on the corners after Rob Tate's single to right field for the leadoff man, Dylan Head. I would be absolutely shocked if they give him anything to hit right here. The Vikings have batted around in the bottom of the first inning like the Porters did in the top of the first. So it's going to be a high-scoring affair for sure. Head can give the Vikings a lead with one swing. He's got Chris Webb on third, Rob Tate on first. He reached on an error earlier in this inning. He then stole second and scored. First pitch to him is low and in, ball 1. Head has 4 bombs on the year. One shy of Jason Ballard with 5 for the Vikings team lead. That one one's off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Again, would be shocked if he is intentionally given anything to hit. Second base is open if they want to walk him. Carosa just has to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. Oh my goodness, what a swing from Dylan Head. He swung so hard he fell down. He foul-tipped it back into Schindler's glove, but he was trying to put that one onto the football field. Unfortunately, it stays here on the baseball field, but the count is still 2-1. Head is still up in the count. 2-1 to Head. That's inside, ball 3. We could see another one of those violent swings from Head. Just going all out, trying to hit one over the fence. 3-1 to Head. That one's lined into right center field, and that ball's going to get up the alleyway. 1 run's going to score. Isaiah White is going to be waved home. Here's the throw, and it can't be handled. The Lockport Porters do not throw it home, and the Vikings have a 1-run lead. Oh my goodness. I am so shocked by that. The Vikings bat around in the first inning, and Dylan Head gives them a 1-run lead.
Second baseman, number 9, Corey Mulling.
Corey Mulling made the first out of this first inning for the Vikings. He grounded to Nico Mastoris at short. He's going to try and not make the third out of the same inning. He takes a breaking ball off the plate from Carosa. This is great to see for the Vikings. After that 6-run top of the first, you thought that they were going to come out flat, dejected, but no, they answer right back, and now they hold the 1-run lead. That one's inside, ball 2. They've actually hit the ball around the field today, unlike Lockport. Porters only had 2 hits in their 6-run first inning. Head takes off for third, and he's going to be in there safely. So Head has now stolen his 20th base. So now the count is 2-1 after that strike to Mulling. But Mulling can extend the Vikings' lead with 1 swing of the bat, or even a wild pitch if it gets away from Schindler. 2-1 pitch. That's below the zone, ball 3. Mulling trying to find any way on, continue this rally. That left center field gap was looking pretty appetizing. Mulling chases ball 4 above the zone, and he knew it. Brings the count to a full 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. 13 runs total have come across and only 5 outs. 3-2 pitch. Tipped back to the screen. Mulling battling. Can Corey Mulling extend the Vikings' lead to 2? Full count pitch. Carosa to Mulling. Outside, ball 4. The inning is extended for Jason Ballard. He's already singled. It was an infield single to Nico Mastoris, but it scored 1. Ballard then swiped a base and came around to score.
Jason Ballard.
He scored ahead to get the scoring started in the bottom of the first inning, even though it still is the bottom of the first inning. He's trying to plate Head once again. Potentially Mulling from first as well. Big swing and a miss. 0-1. No balls and a strike is the count to Ballard. Mulling takes off for second. Good pitch to do so. It was a breaking ball below the zone. And Mulling will now stand on second base. Count is even, a ball and a strike. One ball, one strike to the right fielder, Ballard. Ballard sprays one foul, first base side. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Porter's just trying to get out of this inning. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Hit into right center field. Zaragoza under it. And he'll make the third out of this first inning. But between the first and third out of the bottom of the first inning, 7 runs come across the plate for the Vikings. And after one, 13 runs total. Vikings up 7-6. Top of the second inning, Anthony Francone will start things for the Porters against Evan Nieder back out on the mound for the second. Francone squares bunt, pulls back. Nieder walked Francone in the first inning. Francone came around to score the first of 6 Porters runs in the first. 1-0 pitch. That's in the dirt, ball 2. So now Nieder behind in the count. 2 balls and no strikes to Francone. There's the first strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nieder comes set, 2-1. That one's a little jam shot out into right field. Jason Ballard settles under it for the first out of the second inning. So like the first inning, Nieder gets the first batter out. Hopefully, unlike the first inning, he will not allow 6 runs. If Nieder can get Anthony Martinez, the batter now, to hit into the second out, got a good feeling about this inning as that one is lined into center field for a 1-out single. Jake Mormon will be the batter now. He was hit by pitch and came around to score. He scored on Colton Benitez's grand slam. Pickoff attempt. Rainey able to knock that one down. That throw was in the dirt. Nieder had Mormon 0-2, but then hit him. So he can get ahead in the count on Mormon. That one's past Josh Moore to the screen. And Martinez will move up 90 feet. So now double play out of the picture for the Vikings.
Oh my God.
1-0 to Mormon. Hits him again. So 2 hit by pitches for Jake Mormon. He doesn't appear to be moving out of the way of either hit by pitch, so apparently he, I don't know, maybe he likes getting hit with the ball. Who knows? But either way, he'll be on first base for the shortstop, Nico Mastoris. Mastoris walked with the bases loaded his first time up. He'll take strike 1 at the knees. If Nieder can throw 2 more right there, I doubt that Mastoris will be successful against them. That pitch is very tough to hit. 0-1, Mastoris squares, pulls back on a strike. 0-2. So Nieder way ahead on Mastoris, but we've seen Nieder in the past get a little wild on 0-2. Nieder comes set, 0-2 pitch. Strike 3, inside corner. 3 straight fastballs. Sits down Nico Mastoris on strikes. And that is the second out of the second inning. Caden Miller will bat with 2 runners on and 2 outs here in the top of the second. Miller walked and scored in the first. He'll take first pitch strike from Nieder. So that's 3 straight fastballs that have sort of started at the batter's hands and then ended up right back in over the plate. There's strike 2. Nieder falls down. Hopefully he's okay. He seems to be fine. So he's ahead in the count 0-2 for the second batter in a row. Nieder comes set 0-2. That one's lined into left field, hooking foul. Count is still 0-2, but that's not exactly a good 0-2 pitch. That was right in Miller's wheelhouse. I wonder if Nieder goes to a off-speed pitch right here. Miller has seen 3 fastballs in this at-bat and a heavy dosage of fastballs in his first at-bat. 0-2 pitch. That was a breaking ball. Well, it wasn't a breaking ball. It was an off-speed pitch. It was a changeup. It was below the zone. 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the second inning. Hit past the dive of Rob Tate at short. Martinez is going to be waved home. He will score and tie this ball game 7-7, thanks to a Caden Miller RBI single. Colton Benitez, the man who's responsible for 4 of the 6 Porter's runs, a grand slam to right field his last time up. Takes strike 1 at the knees. Good pitch there from Nieder. Mormon is a runner on second base, and Caden Miller is on first after his RBI single. That one is hit on the ground to Elijah Rainey at first. He's up with it and make the play himself. So 2 ground balls to Elijah Rainey, both end the first and the second. So going into the bottom half of the second, it's all knotted up once again. 7-7 though. Preston Lund walked and scored in the first. Will lead things off on the top of the second, bottom of the second, excuse me. First pitch from Cal Carosa. It's fouled right field. Vikings trying to follow a 7-run bottom of the first inning with at least some runs here in the bottom of the second. 0-1 pitch to Lund. Hit on the ground to Mastoris at short. He's up with it. And will make the play to get Lund for the first out of the second inning. Isaiah White will be the batter. He singled and scored. Also drove in a run with that single. He stole one of 3 Vikings bases in the first inning. He squares bunt, pulls back, and that one was low from Carosa. One 0 pitch from Carosa. It's upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. White way ahead in the count, 2-0. Now he's even more ahead in the count. 3 balls, no strikes. Trying to work a 1-out walk. 3-0 pitch to White. That's ball 4. It's 4 straight balls. And Elijah Rainey, who had extra bases taken away from him by Caden Miller in the first. Will bat.
First baseman, number 4, Elijah Rainey.
Rainey hit a one-hop missile down the third base line, but Caden Miller was able to just dive and somehow keep it in front of him and then fire over to first. First pitch breaking ball in there for strike 1. Rainey wanted to swing at that one, but I think he had the take sign on after 4 straight balls from Carosa. Pickoff attempt. White back safely. Carosa steps off. Rainey will step out of the box. Oh, 1 pitch to Elijah. White takes off, swing and a miss. And White is going to take second, and he's going to try for third, and he will be safe at third base. His second stolen base of the day, and advances to third on the throwing error by Jake Schindler. So now Elijah Rainey, all he has to do is just get a ball in play, and it will score a run for the Vikings, giving them a lead. He's got an 0-2 count on him, though. That one's in the dirt. Good take by Rainey. 1-2 now. One and two is the count. Rainey sends one high into the sky. It's going to score White from third. He's going to tag. Good work by Rainey to get a ball into the air. If he had just gotten a little bit more on top of that one, he would have had his second homer of the year. But either way, he gets another RBI on the day, his second.
Josh Moore.
Josh Moore. He singled to left field in the first inning. He'll take ball 1 from Carosa. The 1-0 pitch to Moore. Swing and a miss. Excuse me, swing and a foul tip back to the backstop. One ball, one strike. Good leave by Moore. That one was in the dirt. Ball 2. Two balls and a strike. Moore pops that one foul. 2-2 now. Moore trying to extend this inning. 2-2. That's ball 3 off the plate. Full count now on the catcher, Josh Moore. Trying to keep this inning alive. 3-2 pitch. Hit on the ground to Martinez at second. He'll throw to Benadas for the third out of this bottom of the second inning. But the Vikings do score 1. They respond and hold a 1-run lead going into the top of the third. Leading off this top of the third inning is Jake Schindler. The catcher grounded to short his first time up. Evan Nieder back out on the mound for this third inning. Schindler fouls that one off himself. Nieder will face the 8-9-1 hitters in the Porters lineup at the bare minimum. 0-1 is the count on Schindler. That one's hit. High bounce to Mulling at second. He'll throw to Elijah at first base. And that is going to be the third consecutive inning where the leadoff man is retired. I was saying about how the Vikings had some issues with getting the leadoff man, but they've done a good job this game. 3 innings, 3 leadoff men out. But it's been the batters following them that have caused the Vikings some trouble. There's ball 1 to Giovanni Zaragoza. He singled to center and then stole second in the first. 1-0 pitch. That's in there for strike one. Count is even, a ball and a strike. That one's just barely inside. 2-1. That 2-1 pitch is hit out into the air to center field. Head going back on it at the track in front of the wall. He'll make the catch. Zaragoza put a charge into that one, but unfortunately was hit to the deepest part of the field.
Center fielder number 3, Joey Manzo.
Turns the lineup card over for the top of the order with 2 outs. Joey Manzo has grounded out twice on the day, once to start the first inning and once to end it. So he made 2 outs in the top of the first. And he is hit by a pitch. Nieder's third hit by pitch of the game is to the leadoff man, Manzo.
Left fielder number 23, Anthony Francone.
Anthony Francone has walked and flied to right on the day. He'll bat with a runner on first and 2 outs in the top of the third. Manzo has pretty good speed over there at first base, so it's important that Nieder keeps him close. That one's in the dirt, ball 1. One 0 is the count on Francone. Manzo takes off, throw for Moore, too high into center field. Manzo will think about testing third, but he then realized who was out there in center field and said, nah. Manzo moves up 90 feet, but that was strike 1 on Francone. One pitch from Nieder. That's in there, strike 2. Fastball on the outside corner has him way ahead and 1 strike away from getting out of this third inning. 1-2 pitch. Hit on the ground, foul down the first base line. Still 1-2. Nieder comes set. 1-2 pitch. That's way outside. 2-2. Nieder tried to just blow it by Francone, but then couldn't get it anywhere near the zone. 2-2. Hit on the ground, right back to Nieder. He'll flip to Elijah Rainey at first, and that is going to be a no-run third inning. The first half inning that no runs come across the plate for either side. So going into the bottom of the third, the Vikings will have a chance to extend their 1-run lead. Chris Webb is the first batter in this home half of the third inning. He singled to center and then later scored in the first inning. We'll take ball one in the dirt from Cal Carosa, starter still out there for his third inning. That 1-0 pitch is low and outside. 2-0. 2-0 to Webb. Check swing. That was probably a strike anyway. 2-1. That was a called strike, not a strike on the swing. That 2-1's in the dirt. Ball three. Webb trying to work a leadoff walk. 3-1 pitch. That's outside. It's ball four. Chris Webb continuing to boost that on-base percentage. He's reached base twice in 2 plate appearances today. The last batter in the Vikings lineup, Rob Tate, will be the batter. He singled to right and scored in the first.
Shortstop number 2, Robert Tate.
Schindler and Carosa having a chat. Now it will end. It's important that Tate gets on right here, because then Dylan Head will have at least 1 runner on if Chris Webb doesn't score. Can get some runners on base for the top of the lineup. Tate fouls that one off, first base side. Tate's 3 for 3 in his last 3 at-bats, dating back to Saturday. Pickoff attempt. Webb in there safely, and the throw gets away from Benitez, and Chris Webb is going to be waved towards third, and he is going to be in there safely. Some free bases for the Vikings. And now Rob Tate has a chance to give the Vikings a 2-run lead. All he has to do is just get a ball in play and not right at somebody. 0-1 pitch to Rob Tate. Slow breaking ball off the plate. Count is even. A ball and a strike. One and one is a count on Tate. Pickoff attempt to third yet again. We've seen 2 of those in the same game after not seeing a single one of them pretty much all season. Count is still 1 and 1 on Rob. He sends that one almost into the Lockport dugout. 1 and 2. One and 2 is a count. Carosa and Tate. That one's hit on the ground. That's going to score 1. Miller up with it. The throw to first base is in time to get Tate, but an RBI ground out for Rob Tate extends the Vikings' lead to 2.
Center fielder number 1, Dylan Head.
The leadoff man, Dylan Head, will bat now. He reached on an error in the first. And then later in that same inning, he doubled to right center field, scoring 2. He later scored himself. He takes a breaking ball up and away for ball 1 from Carosa. Head takes ball 1 low. That one was skipped in there for ball 2. So now that one went right off the umpire. Hopefully he's okay. He seems to be fine. 2 balls and no strikes is a count on Head. Pitch from Carosa. Big swing and a miss. 2-1. Head was looking to give the Vikings a 3-run lead with that swing. Two balls and a strike. Head lines one past the dive of Benitez at first. He's going to be waved towards second, and he will be safe at second base with his second double of the day. Double trouble for Dylan Head. He's got doubles. He's got back-to-back doubles and back-to-back plate appearances. And now Corey Mulling, the second baseman, has grounded to short and walked today. He's got a chance to drive in Head from second base. He takes strike one from Carosa. Anthony Martinez is kind of holding Head on at second base, but not as closely as we've seen in the past. But there's a pickoff attempt. Martinez goes over to cover it, but Head didn't even have to slide. Oh, and 1 is a count on Mulling. He sends one on the ground to short again. Mastoris up with it, fires across his body, and he will make the play for the second out. Head advanced to third on that one.
Right fielder number 3, Jason Ballard.
Jason Ballard is 1 for 2 on the day with an infield single and a fly ball to right field that was caught. Ballard got the scoring started in the first inning. He then came around to score himself. He scored Head in the first, and that one's hit to Mastoris at short. And he will make the third out of this third inning, but the Vikings add on another one thanks to some aggressive base running by Chris Webb, and going into the fourth inning, they hold a 2-run lead. Evan Nieder back out on the mound for the fourth. He's settled down very nicely after his 6-run first inning. He'll face the heart of the Porters lineup, however, starting with the 3-hole hitter Anthony Martinez.
Second baseman number 13, Anthony
Martinez has walked and singled on the day. Fouls that one, third base line. Vikings have not lost an inning yet. They're up 2 in the fourth. That one's fouled down the third baseline yet again. They answered the Porters' 6-run top of the first with a 7-run bottom of the first. Porters then tied it in the top of the second. Vikings answered right back. They took a 1-run lead, and after a 0 thrown up there by Nieder in the top of the third, they extended their lead last half inning. And Nieder has Martinez at 0-2 count, and Martinez sends one opposite field in front of Jason Ballard for a leadoff single and his second single of the day. Jake Mormon has been hit by a pitch twice in this game, and both times he just sort of stood there and let the ball hit him. Didn't make any effort to get out of the way, but hey, it's a free base. And clearly doing something right. They've scored 7 runs today in 3 innings. And he's hit by a pitch for a 3rd time today. You can't make this up, folks. 3 at-bats, 3 hit by pitches. At least that one wasn't 0-2 like the first one. Nico Mastoris has walked and has so far been the only strikeout victim of Evan Nieder's day. He'll bat with runners on first and second and 1 out and nobody out. He'll square bunt, get it down the first base line, sacrifice bunt. Advances Martinez and Mormon 90 feet for the first out of the 4th inning. Caden Miller has walked and singled today. He's got a chance to tie or take the lead for the Porters right here. And that one's inside, ball 1. Martinez on third, Mormon on second. That one's lined into center field, head racing in front of it. He'll make the catch, throw home. Is not going to be in time. Anthony Martinez tags and scores. But the Vikings do get an out, and they still have a 1-run lead. Mormon staying at second on that throw. Colton Benatis has hit a grand slam in the first inning and then grounded to second. That one fouled back. He tried to check his swing. He couldn't before made contact with the ball. Nieder can get out of this with the Vikings still holding a lead. I think he'll be in pretty good shape. 0-1 pitch. That one's smacked foul. 0-2. I believe. Yes, Colton Benatis' bat just broke. That's the second time we've seen an end cap pop off. So that's about $300 down the drain. Bats are expensive nowadays. He's behind in the count 0-2. That one's up and out. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That would be pretty depressing if you said you broke your bat on an at-bat where you struck out in. 1-2 pitch to Benatis. That one's hit on the ground. High bounce to Isaiah White. His up with it and strong throw to first base. Great play by Isaiah White, reading the bounce perfectly. And for the 4th inning in a row, the Vikings end the top of the inning with a ground ball. First inning ended with a ground ball to first. Second inning with a ground ball to first as well. Third with a ground ball to the pitcher. And now the 4th with a ground ball to third. So going into the bottom half of the 4th inning, Vikings still hold a 1-run lead over the Porters.
Hitter, number 10, Preston Lund.
DH Preston Lund will lead us off here in the 4th inning. Lund has walked and grounded out to short on the day. Came around to score on that walk. He'll face the new pitcher for the Porters, Seth Cavett. First pitch is off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Cavett relieves the starter, Cal Carosa. Carosa went three innings, allowed 9 runs. So there's strike 1 at the knees for Lund. The Vikings trying to answer and extend their 1-run lead over the Porters. 1-1 is a slow breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That overhand breaking ball just sort of hung up there forever, and then when it came down, it was a strike. One, 2 to Lund. That one was barely even in the brown turf area. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lund trying to be the 2nd inning in a row where the Vikings have their leadoff man on. Swing and a miss at a fastball on the outside corner. That starts the 4th. But Isaiah White has singled and walked on the day. Came around to score both times and has stole 2 bases today. So White has had a pretty good day. Reached base twice, scored twice. Stole 2 bases. Pretty good. Swing and a miss at that Cavett fastball. 0-1. Another swing and a miss. 0-2. Cavett just hitting that outer third with that fastball. White behind in the count, 0-2. Another fastball gets Isaiah White to go down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 4th inning. For Elijah Rainey, was 2 RBIs on the day. One was a ground ball down the third base line that Caden Miller took extra bases away from him. And then the other one was a sac fly to center field that he just barely got under. If he had hit it more on a line, it would have probably hit that light tower out there in left center field. Fouls that one back, 0-1. Cavett is working quickly. Cavett isn't exactly the tallest guy, but he's throwing pretty hard for a guy his size. Oh, 1 to Rainey is hit down the left field line, and Caden Miller can't stop that one. Rainey is going to be waved towards second. No, he's not. He's going to put on the brakes, and rightfully so. The Porters got that one in pretty quickly. He was waved to second by Cunningham over there at first base, but then he decided, no, I want to stay on first base.
Catcher number 6, Josh Moore.
It prevents the Vikings from going 1-2-3 in the 4th, and extends the inning to Josh Moore, who has singled and grounded out today. First pitch is upstairs, ball 1. One ball and no strikes. That one's upstairs yet again, 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes is the count on the catcher, Josh Moore. 2-0 pitch. That one's hit hard down the left field line. If it's fair, if it's fair, it would have been gone, but that one just kept on hooking foul. Moore put a good barrel on that one, but it just sliced out of play. If he had been able to keep that one in fair territory, it would have given the Vikings an 11-8 lead. But it's just a long strike. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count now. Pickoff attempt. Cavett fires over to first base, but Rainey is back safely. Count is still 2 balls and a strike. Swing and a miss. Rainey tries a delayed steal, and he will be in there. A stolen base from Elijah Rainey. As the Vikings with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. But Josh Moore has 2 strikes on him. We don't see Elijah steal too many bases, but he just did. Cavett comes set. 2-2 to Moore. Breaking ball hit on the ground. Miller up with it. He's going to have to throw hurry. And he will make the play to end the 4th inning. A good play by Caden Miller. He's been solid over there at the hot corner. And going into the 5th inning, the Vikings still hold a 1-run lead over the Lockport Porters. Evan Nieder back out on the mound for the 5th inning. He'll face the 8-9-1 hitters in the Porters lineup, starting with Jake Schindler. Schindler's 0 for 2 on the day, and he's 1/3 of the way to an 0 for 3 day. Schindler's bounced to short and second for his 2 plate appearances. He'll take ball 1 upstairs. If Nieder completes this inning, he will be the longest outing of his Vikings career. Schindler squares bunt, gets it down the third base line. Nieder will let Isaiah White field it, And a good play by Isaiah White, and that's going to be the first out of this 5th inning. Elijah Rainey dropped the ball, but it was ruled on the transfer. Rightfully so, as that one was a clear out.
Right fielder number 11, Giovanni Zaragoza.
The last hitter in the Porters lineup, Giovanni Zaragoza, is 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a fly out to center field. I'll take ball 1 from Nieder. That fly out to center, he put a charge into. Dylan Head had to go all the way back to the wall to make the play. "1-0 is just barely high. 2-0. Two balls, no strikes on Zaragoza. 3-0. That one was a little bit more above the zone. So Nieder trying to avoid a 1-out walk. He cannot, as 4 pitches sends Zaragoza to first base for the top of the lineup in Joey Manzo.
Center fielder number 3, Joey Manzo.
Manzo was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat and then grounded out twice in the first inning, something you rarely see. He made the first and last out of the first inning. Zaragoza takes off, and a great hit-and-run play by the by the Porters, something we saw the Vikings do earlier in the game. And Manzo singles to right, sends Zaragoza to third base, and just like that, the Porters have the tying run 90 feet away. And that looks like that's going to be it for Evan Nieder. Coach McCarthy out of the dugout. Nieder goes 4 1/3, allows 8 runs, but will exit with a lead. So as he steps out, we'll be back with more Vikings baseball. Trent Roseborough is the new pitcher on the mound for the Vikings. We've seen him relieve Evan Nieder a few times in the past, but he will come in with runners on the corners and 1 out, protecting a 1-run lead, and he'll face the Porters' 2-hitter, Anthony Francone. Swing and a miss from Francone on a pitch that almost ended up behind him. Francone's 0 for 2 with a walk today. He grounded to the pitcher, Evan Nieder, to end the 3rd inning, 0-1 pitch to Francone. Another swing and a miss. Very quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. Strikeout here would be massive, as then all you got to do is just get one more out. Takes a sac fly and sac bunt out of the question. Roseboro steps off, trying to get Manzo over there at first base. Manzo is on first, Zaragoza on third. 0-2 pitch to Francone. That's tapped foul. Pretty much three of the exact same pitch from Roseboro. Just got to be sure you don't make a mistake and leave one over the heart of the plate. Manzo takes off. That one's smacked foul down the third base line. Manzo was off with the pitch, so Rob Tate was running to cover the steal, and Francone tried to go opposite field and hit it in between short and third, or just in the hole that Rob Tate created by going to cover the steal. But it keeps the count at 0-2. That one's tapped foul yet again. Francone has swung at every single pitch he's seen from Roseboro. Whiffed at two of them, fouled off the next three. Roseboro steps off yet again. Count is still 0-2 on Francone. Another step off. Roseboro very worried, or just interested in, Joey Manzo on first base. 0-2 to Roseboro. Manzo takes off again. That one's hit in the air to left field. Chris Webb over. He'll make the play. The throw is to second base. And the Porters even this ball game at 9, thanks to a sacrifice fly off the bat of Anthony Francone.
Second baseman number 13, Anthony Martinez.
Manzo stays at first base. Zaragoza scores. And now Anthony Martinez, who has reached base in every time he's went to the plate. A walk and 2 singles for him on the day. He's came around to score all 3 times. Breaking ball hit into center field. Dylan Head going back on it at the track at the wall. And that's going to get over the monster and give the Lockport Porters an 11-9 lead in the top of the 5th inning. Their second home run of the day comes off the bat of their second baseman, Anthony Martinez. Vikings were 1 out away from getting out of that inning. And now Jake Mormon, who has been hit by a pitch 3 times. That is not a I did not misspeak right there. He has been hit all 3 times. He has been, and he is not hit with that pitch. That one's in there for strike 1. That 0-1 is hit on the ground to Elijah Rainey at first. He'll take it himself and end this top of the 5th inning. But the Porters do get 3, and going into the bottom of the 5th, they hold a 2-run lead over the Vikings. Leading off here in the bottom of the 5th inning, it's going to be Chris Webb. He's reached base twice today, once via a single, once via a walk. He's came around to score twice. He started off the 3rd with a walk. Can he start off the 5th with another on base, another trip on base? But he'll watch first pitch strike from Seth Cavett. The righty back out for his 2nd inning of relief. Oh, 0-1 to Webb. Outside corner, 0-2. Cavett is just doing a great job of peppering that low and outside corner to righties, almost making it impossible for them to do anything with that pitch. 0-2 to Webb. Another fastball. This one's off the plate. A little too far. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. One, 2 to Webb. That one's hit out in the air, center field. Hit well, but not well enough. Joey Manzo makes the play just shy of the wall. A hard hit ball for Chris Webb. Lands in Manzo's glove in center field.
Shortstop number 2.
Sends Rob Tate to the dish with nobody on and 1 out. Tate is 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out. He'll take first pitch ball from Cavett. That one was a breaking ball that just spun a little bit outside. One 1-0. That one's fouled back. 1-1. Count is even. A ball and a strike. Tate trying to turn things over to Dylan Head, who waits on deck with a man on base. That one's fouled off yet again. 1-2. Cavett has 2 strikeouts on the day. Tate trying to prevent adding a 3rd. Swing and a miss. A backup breaking ball that just started at Tate's head, but then fell back over into the middle of the plate. Is the 2nd out of the 5th inning. But Dylan Head is the batter, who has reached base in all 3 trips to the plate. He has hit doubles in his last 2 plate appearances. And if Cavett keeps peppering that inside corner to Dylan Head, a lefty, he's going to send a ball a very long way. That one was fouled back 0-1. We saw Head go opposite field to start off the game against Sandburg on Thursday of last week. He can do it again right here. The wind isn't blowing nearly as much as it was, but he has the power to still do that anyway. That one's up and out. 1-1. One is the count on Head. That was a breaking ball that Head chased a little bit below the zone. Fouled it out of play down the third base line. 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes is the count on Head. Cavett trying to get out of this inning. That 1-2 is swung on and popped up. He just barely got under it. And the play will be made by the first baseman, Colton Benitez, out there in shallow right field. That ball was up in the sky for about 10 seconds. But going into the top of the 6th inning, the Vikings trail by 2. New pitcher on the mound for the Vikings. It's the righty Jack Barry. Barry relieves Trent Roseborough after Roseborough got 2 outs, but surrendered a go-ahead 2-run home run. Barry will face the 5, 6, 7 hitters in the Porters lineup, starting with Nico Mastoris. Mastoris hits a high chopper to Isaiah White at third. White up with it. And a good pick over there by first baseman Elijah Rainey. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
Third baseman number 37, Caden Miller.
Caden Miller has walked, singled, and then hit a sac fly on the day. He's got 2 RBIs and two runs scored. Overhand curveball from Barry, just barely off the plate. 1-0. Barry's known for his off-speed junk stuff. There's a swing and a miss at a slider. Just an absolute frisbee. It'll start at you, but then end up in the other-handed batter's box. 1-1 is a changeup in the dirt. 2-1. Barry uses his fastball sparingly, but when it does come out of the hand, it looks like it's about 107 as opposed to the maybe 75 that it actually is. He just throws so much of that breaking stuff. There it is. That slider was popped foul. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes is the count on Caden Miller. That one's in the dirt. 3-2. Barry trying to avoid a 1-out walk here in the top of the 6th. 3-2 pitch. Fastball just barely inside. That one was, that looked good from up here. I don't know where it could possibly be other than inside, but Colton Benatis, who hit a grand slam in the first and then has grounded out twice since then, will bat against Barry. Pickoff attempt, Miller able to dive in safely at first. He was pretty far off the base. Good work by Barry to keep him honest over there at first. Benitez takes ball one in the dirt. Moore can't find it. And Miller will be safe at third base. He'll move up 2 bases thanks to some confusion on where the ricochet went. So now all Benitez has to do is put a ball in play, and the Porters will score another one. The Vikings going infield in now. 1-0. Tipped foul. 1-1. If Barry can get through Benitez. Jake Schindler, who waits on deck, is 0 for 3 today. Good sign for the Vikings. 1-1. Fouled back. There was that fastball. Benitez was late on it. A ball and 2 strikes is a count on Benitez now. Barry trying to get the second out of the 6th inning. And he will. A good changeup by Jack Barry sends Colton Benitez back to the dugout. And Jake Schindler will be the batter now. No, they will elect a pinch hit for Jake Schindler. First pitch from Barry. It's a breaking ball in there for a strike. That's not exactly what you want to see when you're coming off the bench. You want to see a heavy dosage of fastballs because you haven't seen anything all day, but then coming off the bench, you see a Barry Frisbee slider. There's his fastball at the knees, taken for strike 2. So now Barry 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. 0-2 pitch from Barry. Swing and a miss. Jack Barry strands Caden Miller on third base, gets back-to-back strikeouts, and ends the top half of the 6th inning. And going into the bottom half of the 6th, the Vikings need 2 to tie, 3 to go ahead.
Baseman.
Leading off this bottom half of the 6th inning is the second baseman, Corey Malling. He'll take first pitch ball upstairs from Seth Cavett. Malling has grounded out to short twice and walked today. He'll try and start the 6th with a man on base for Jason Ballard on deck. That one's off the plate, 2-0. Schindler tried to bring that one back in over the plate. Could not. 2-0 is the count now. Two-oh pitch. Hit right back to Cavett. He just like jumped in front of the way of that one and somehow got a glove on it. It's a hard hit ball for Mulling, but unfortunately right back to the pitcher, Seth Cavett.
Right fielder, number 3, Jason Ballard.
Jason Ballard is 1 for 3 today with a single. It came around to score on that single. Swiped a base while he was out there too. He'll send the first one into left field. Just barely off the wall. He'll motor towards second base with a 1-out double. Jason Ballard missed a home run by about 7-8 feet. But either way, the Vikings have a runner in scoring position for Preston Lund.
Designated hitter.
He smoked that ball.
Number 10,
Frank Cohen had no chance on it.
Lund.
Preston Lund, the DH, is 0 for 2 with a walk today. So now Anthony Martinez and Seth Cavett were having a bit of a conversation there, and now Jake Schindler will go out and join them. Perhaps changing signs, discussing pickoff plays. Who knows? But I think this sort of puts into perspective either A, how big Jake Schindler is, or B, how small Seth Cavett is, because Cavett was looking up to him like he was his father, but Lund will be the batter. Ballard stands on second. Lund smokes the first one right to Caden Miller at third base. Ballard was going to move up 90 feet. Caden Miller has been an absolute wizard over there at third base. He's taken at least 2 hits away from Vikings batters, including that one. It's a second out of the 6th inning, a very hard-hit 6th inning for the Vikings. Corey Mulling's ground out back to the pitcher was hit hard. Ballard's double off the left field wall was obviously hit hard, and that Lund ground out was smoked. Isaiah White is 1 for 2 with a walk today. Came around to score twice. He'll try and score Jason Ballard from third. Just needs to get a base knock right here. Breaking ball in there for strike 1 from Cavett. Cavett displays that breaking ball very sparingly, but when it does, it sort of locks up the Vikings hitters. 0-1 to White. That one's tipped just barely foul. Very quickly 0-2. White just trying to extend the inning. Plate Ballard from third. Cut the Porters' lead to 1. He chases a fastball above the zone. Strikeout is going to end the bottom of the 6th inning. So going into the last inning, unless there's extras, the Porters lead 11-9. Jack Barry on the mound here in the 7th inning. He'll face the bottom and then top of the Porters lineup, starting with Giovanni Zaragoza. Zaragoza is 1 for 2 today with a walk. He'll take breaking ball outside. These two are actually travel baseball teammates, Barry and Zaragoza. I know because I am also a teammate of both of those players. Zaragoza hits one on the ground to short. Rob Tate up with it. Strong throw. Good stretch over there by Elijah Rainey at first base to get the first out of the 7th inning. And it turns the lineup card over for Joey Manzo, the leadoff man. He's 1 for 3 with a hit by pitch today. He singled to right his last time up for his only hit of today. Swing and a miss late on a Jack Barry fastball. Manzo was the last batter that starter Evan Nieder faced. That 0-1 pitch is in the dirt. Evens a count at a ball and a strike. One from Barry. That one's lined into right field. Ballard giving a chase. Into the corner it will go. Manzo is going to be on second base with a 1-out double in the 7th inning. Anthony Francone will be the batter. He has not recorded a hit today. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a sac fly. But he's got a runner in scoring position. And 1 out. You saw Barry get out of a worse situation than this last inning. He had a runner on third base and 1 out. And Francone sends one on the ground to short. Rob Tate will not make the play. He checked Manzo at third and sort of hesitated, giving Francone enough time to beat out that throw. That's probably going to go E6.
Second baseman number 13, Anthony Martinez.
Anthony Martinez will be the batter now. His last at bat, he homered to straightaway center field. He's reached base in all 4 plate appearances he's had. He's singled twice and walked. He's got a chance to extend the Porters' lead. He's also got a chance to end the 7th inning if he grounds into a double play. Pickoff attempt. Francone in there safely at first. First pitch from Barry. It's a breaking ball, locked him up. Strike 1. Barry ahead in the count, 0-1 to Martinez. Fastball, fouled off himself. 0-2. Barry can get Martinez to strike out. Jake Mormon hasn't gotten on base on a ball that was on a ball that did not hit him. He's got 3 hit by pitches on the day. The 0-2 to Anthony Martinez. That one's in the dirt. Gets away from Josh Moore. Here comes Manzo. He'll score from third base, giving the Porters their 12th run of the day and extending their lead to 3. Francone moves up to second base. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still only a strike away. Barry comes set. 1-2 pitch. Check swing. He did hold it. I don't know where that pitch was. That looked to be pretty much right down the middle. But either way, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now. 2-2. Francone takes off. Throw from Moore is not in time. Francone swipes third base, excuse me. And that pitch was up and out to Martinez. So it's a full count after starting 0-2. Martinez has battled back to now a full 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three-two pitch. Tipped foul. Still 3-2. Vikings going infield in, trying to cut down Francone if he does try to advance home. 3-2 from Barry. That's inside. Ball 4. Martinez reaches first base on a 1-out walk. Jake Mormon has been hit 3 times and grounded out.
Designated hitter number 5, Jake Mormon.
Another ground ball would be helpful right here. That one's outside, ball 1. I think Barry thought that Martinez was going to try and take second, so it was sort of a pitch out. Count is 1 ball and no strikes on Mormon. Martinez will go now. That one's up. That one's in there for strike 1, and a run will score. 13-9, and Martinez is safe at second. So usually you want to get at least an out or prevent the run from scoring, but Vikings get neither, and their deficit is now 4. After scoring in each of the first 3 innings, they have not scored since. That one's pulled down the line, foul, 2-1. Excuse me, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That pitch that Martinez ran on was a strike. One, 2 to Mormon. It's a pickoff move. One, 2 from Barry. Swing and a miss from Mormon. That one was in the dirt. Moore will have to throw to first base. Rainey able to step on first and gets the second out of the 7th inning. Martinez did advance to third base on that, but Nico Mastoris has already grounded out to Jack Barry today. Mastoris is 0 for 3 today with a walk. He struck out in the 2nd against Evan Nieder, his only strikeout of the day. He squared bunt. He pulled back as that one was a ball. I don't know if he thought that he could beat out a bunt for a single and a run scoring. But either way, 1-0. That pitch from Barry's at the knees, strike 1. Count is even. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch from Barry. Slider in there for strike 2. That was a perfectly located slider from Barry. Just ended up cutting across that outside corner. 1-2 to Mastoris. That one's in the dirt. Good block by Josh behind the plate. Count is even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Barry trying to get out of this, limit the damage. That one's tipped foul, keeping the count at 2-2. Borders have already scored twice this inning. They came into this inning with an 11-9 lead. They currently have a 13-9 lead. 2-2 pitch was upstairs. 3-2 now. Full count pitch. Barry to Mastoris. Strike 3, outside corner. Jack Barry gets out of the 7th inning. And it's the last call for the Vikings. They're down 4, but they scored 7 in the bottom of the 1st. So if you haven't clicked off yet, stay here for the last half of the 7th. It's the last chance if the Vikings want to come out victorious in this one. They'll face a new pitcher in the game for the Porters. Anthony Martinez, the second baseman, now shifts to the mound. Dylan Nagy takes his spot at second base. Martinez will face the 6, 7, 8 hitters in the Vikings lineup. Elijah Rainey will be the first one. Rainey singled to left field in the 4th for his last at-bat. He also swiped second, which is very uncharacteristic of him. First pitch for Martinez. The fastball at the knees for strike 1. Martinez definitely throws harder than Seth Cavett, the middleman in relief of Cal Carosa. Carosa started, then went to Cavett. Now it's Anthony Martinez. There's strike 2 on the outer third. Good fastball for Martinez. Oh, 2 pitch. Fights it off. Oh, 2 is still the count on the first baseman, Rainey. Trying to start something here in the 7th. Vikings need 4 to tie, 5 to win. That one's hit on the ground to Mastoris and through. Mastoris can't make the play. And Elijah Rainey is gifted first base, something that could be very beneficial later on in the game. Sends Josh Moore to the plate with a runner on first and nobody out. Moore is 1 for 3 today with a single to left in the first inning. He's then grounded out twice. bottom of the lineup has been fairly productive today for the Vikings. First pitch from Martinez is in there for strike one. Oh, 1 to Moore. That's popped up, shallow right field. Zaragoza calling for it, and he'll make the play. The right fielder calling off Nagy, the second baseman. Chris Webb will be the batter. He's reached base twice in 3 plate appearances.
Left fielder number 23, Chris Webb.
His last at-bat, he flied to center, put a charge into one, but not far enough to get it over the monster. He'll watch first pitch strike from Martinez. So that's 3 batters, 3 straight first pitch strikes from Anthony Martinez. Oh, 1 to Webb. The fastball above the zone. 1-1. Count is even, a ball and a strike. Pitch to Webb. Breaking ball off the plate. 2-1. It's the first breaking ball that Martinez has thrown, and I think he and Schindler got crossed up, as Schindler's going to go out and talk to him now. Schindler definitely received that one awkwardly. I thought it was a strike, to be honest. I think Schindler sort of brought it back off the plate. But the count is 2 balls and a strike on the left fielder, Chris Webb. Two 2-1 for Martinez. Swing and a miss from Webb. Evens the count at 2-2. Martinez has that firm fastball. A lot of Vikings hitters have been late on. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 at the knees. Chris Webb goes down looking for the second out of this bottom of the 7th inning. And Rob Tate, the last hitter in the Vikings lineup, will attempt to extend the inning and extend the game. He struck out his last time up.
Robert Tate.
Singled in the first. Came around to score on that. He's 1 for 3 on the day. He watches first pitch strike, so for 4 consecutive batters, they all start off 0-1. Two strikes away from defeat, the Vikings are. That one's just barely off the plate. A ball and a strike. One and one is the count on Tate. Pitch from Martinez. Fouled back, 1-2. Vikings down to their final strike. But if there's anybody that can fight off pitches that would be strikeouts, it's Rob Tate. 1-2 is the count. Pitch from Martinez. The fastball, outside corner, strike 3 looking. That's going to end this game. The Vikings do not score in the final 4 innings. They put up 9 in the first 3 and then are held scoreless in the 4th through 7th. Porters only don't score in 2 innings, the 3rd and the 6th. And they take this one 13-9. If you thought this was a good game, however, these 2 teams are going to play again on Wednesday. But in between those games, the Vikings are going to have to finish up a game that was suspended in the bottom of the 5th against Sandburg. They'll play that game tomorrow. It's at home. They were losing 9-6 in that bottom of the 5th inning. But if you can't make it to that game or any others throughout the season, be sure to subscribe, turn on the post notification so you get notified when we go live. Make sure to follow our Instagram. It's on the bottom of the screen right there. Follow our Twitter, HFHS_baseball, for any news, updates, anything you might want to know about the program. But for everybody here at the HF Viking Baseball program, I'm Dylan Barnes. Have a great night, everybody.